What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? Do you reach for your phone? Skip breakfast? Forget to drink water? For many people over 60, the answer is yes. And while these habits may seem small or harmless, they could actually be silently working against your health every single day. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to routine. The way we begin the morning sets the stage for how our brain, heart, muscles, and digestion function for the rest of the day. Yet too many of us fall into habits that slowly chip away at our energy, our clarity, and even our lifespan, without even realizing it. In this video, we're going to uncover 4 common morning mistakes that are especially harmful for people over 60. These aren't extreme behaviors. They're subtle patterns, things we often do out of convenience or routine. But over time, they can add up to poor circulation, mental fog, joint stiffness, low mood, and even increase your risk of long-term illness. But the good news is, once you know what these habits are, you can change them, gently and at your own pace. You'll learn why your body needs water first thing in the morning, why skipping breakfast may be draining your strength, and how even a little screen time can disrupt your peace of mind before the day begins. We'll also give you practical, senior-friendly tips to shift your routine in a way that helps you feel more energetic, focused, and in control, without needing to overhaul your entire lifestyle. So if you've been waking up tired, feeling off, or just want to protect your energy and health for the years ahead, this is a video worth watching. I know you are a person who likes to watch videos quietly. If you have not liked and subscribed to the channel, now is a good time to do it because you are a kind person. If the video is helpful, press 1. If the video is not good enough or needs improvement, press 2. Thanks everyone. Now let's get started. Number 1, skipping water, starting the day already dehydrated. Mrs. Joan, a 77-year-old retired nurse from Florida, was always careful with her health. She took her vitamins, ate her greens, and tried to walk every day. But lately, she'd been feeling more tired in the mornings, her joints stiff, and her thoughts just a little slower than usual. "It takes me 2 cups of coffee to feel awake," she laughed, "and even then, I still feel like I'm dragging." What she didn't realize was that the first thing her body needed wasn't caffeine, it was water. When we sleep, we go 7 to 8 hours, sometimes more, without any fluid intake. During that time, our bodies naturally lose water through breathing, sweating, and basic metabolic functions. That means every morning, whether you feel it or not, your body wakes up in a state of mild dehydration. And for older adults who already have a reduced sense of thirst, that dehydration can be more pronounced and more dangerous. Skipping water in the morning doesn't just leave your mouth dry. It sets off a ripple effect throughout your entire system. Your circulatory system becomes sluggish, your muscles may feel tight or crampy, and your brain doesn't function as sharply. Even your digestion slows down. The result? You feel groggy, achy, constipated, and oddly unmotivated, a pattern that becomes your normal over time, even though it's completely reversible. Hydration in the morning is especially important for heart health. When your blood becomes more concentrated due to dehydration, your heart has to work harder to pump it, especially in the early hours when most heart attacks and strokes statistically occur. A simple glass of water can thin the blood slightly, ease the strain on the heart, and support smoother circulation, giving you a safer, steadier start to the day. For Mrs. Joan, making one small change made a big difference. She began each morning with a glass of room-temperature water placed by her bedside the night before. "At first it felt strange," she said. "I wasn't used to it, but after a week, I noticed my mornings felt easier. My joints weren't as stiff, and I didn't need that second cup of coffee." Experts recommend drinking 8 to 16 ounces, 1 to 2 cups, of water soon after waking. This doesn't have to be plain. You can add a slice of lemon, a sprig of mint, or a dash of sea salt if you like. The key is to drink before your coffee, before your breakfast, before your morning meds. Water first, everything else second. That one order of operations can set your whole day up for better hydration, digestion, and focus. If you're someone who struggles to drink water in the morning, Try keeping a small glass next to your toothbrush or on your kitchen counter. Even a few sips are better than none, and like all good habits, consistency is more important than perfection. Warm water can also be easier on the stomach, especially for those with acid reflux or sensitive digestion. Skipping morning hydration is one of the most quiet but powerful mistakes that many older adults make every day. Not out of neglect, but out of routine. And yet correcting it is one of the easiest ways to boost your energy, protect your heart, and feel more awake before your day even begins. Now that we've hydrated, let's talk about another morning habit that's just as common and just as sneaky. If you've ever rushed through breakfast, skipped it entirely, or grabbed whatever was easy without thinking, you're not alone. But what happens when we start the day without proper fuel? Let's explore that next in Number 2, rushing through breakfast or skipping it entirely. Number 2, rushing through breakfast or skipping it entirely. Mrs. Eleanor, a 79-year-old retired librarian from Wisconsin, had never been much of a breakfast person. "I've always liked to get things done first," she said. Most mornings she'd sip a cup of coffee while folding laundry or flipping through the news on her iPad. Then maybe grab a piece of toast or a banana around mid-morning, if she remembered. "I didn't think much of it," she said, "but I was getting these weird dips in energy. I'd feel sharp for an hour or two, and then it was like someone unplugged me." She started feeling weak before lunch, cranky and even dizzy on occasion. What she didn't know was that rushing through breakfast, or skipping it entirely, was slowly draining her body's energy reserves. Breakfast is not just another meal. For people over 60, it is a critical anchor for physical and mental function. During sleep, your body continues working. Your heart pumps, your brain dreams, your cells repair. By morning, your blood sugar is naturally low, your metabolism is sluggish, and your body is waiting for a signal to refuel and reset. That signal is food. But when you skip breakfast or eat something light and nutritionally empty, like a plain piece of toast or just coffee, your body stays in that low-power state, trying to function without fuel. What follows is a cascade of problems. Your brain feels foggy. You may become lightheaded when standing. You start craving sugar or caffeine by mid-morning. Your muscles may feel weaker. And for those managing diabetes, blood pressure issues, or thyroid conditions, skipping breakfast can throw your entire day out of rhythm. The body needs steady fuel to keep hormones, blood sugar, and energy levels stable. And breakfast is your first and best opportunity to provide it. But the issue isn't only skipping breakfast. It's also eating it too fast, too distracted, or without care. Many older adults eat while standing, watching TV, or scrolling on their phones. This disconnect from the meal leads to poor digestion, faster eating, and less satisfaction. Studies show that mindful eating, sitting down, chewing slowly, and truly tasting your food improves not just digestion, but also how well you absorb nutrients like calcium, B12, and iron. These are key for maintaining strong bones, clear thinking, and preventing fatigue. In Eleanor's case, once she realized what was happening, she made a conscious shift. She began waking up just 15 minutes earlier, preparing a small but complete breakfast, a boiled egg, half an avocado on whole grain toast, and a small bowl of berries. She sat by the window, no phone, just soft music. "It was the first time in years I treated breakfast like something important," she said, "and it changed everything. I didn't crash before lunch. My focus was sharper. I felt like my body actually had fuel to run on." So what does a healthy breakfast really look like for seniors? You don't need a feast and just balance. Include protein, like eggs, yogurt, tofu, or nut butter, complex carbs, like oats or whole grain toast, and a bit of healthy fat, like nuts, seeds, or avocado. Add in fiber and hydration, and you're setting your day up for smoother digestion, better focus, and more consistent energy. And if eating in the morning feels difficult, start small. A smoothie, a hard-boiled egg, or a slice of toast with peanut butter is a great beginning. Just avoid the quick sugar fixes, pastries, sugary cereals, and plain white bread, which can spike your blood sugar and cause you to crash just an hour later. Breakfast is your chance to say, "I'm here, I'm ready, I'm taking care of myself." It doesn't need to be complicated, it just needs to be intentional. When you begin your day with real food and mindful nourishment, you're not just eating, you're building the foundation for better strength, sharper thinking, and a body that works with you, not against you. Now that we've fueled the body, it's time to think about movement. Because even a healthy breakfast can't do all the work if your body stays still. Up next, let's explore how skipping morning movement may be silently stiffening your joints and slowing your circulation. In number 3, no morning movement, missing the chance to wake up the body. Number 3, no morning movement, missing the chance to wake up the body. Mr. Carl, an 82-year-old retired carpenter from Michigan, had always been an early riser. For decades, his mornings were filled with movement. Feeding the dog, walking around the yard, tinkering in his shed. But after a particularly long winter and a lingering ache in his knee, he began skipping his usual morning activities. He'd stay in his robe longer, sit with his coffee, and wait for the stiffness to go away. But instead of feeling rested, Carl found himself more tired than ever. His joints grew tighter, his legs felt heavy, and even climbing the stairs became more difficult. "I thought slowing down would help," he admitted, "but it only made everything harder." Carl's experience isn't uncommon. In fact, it reflects a hidden truth that many people don't realize. When we stop moving, especially in the morning, our bodies begin to slow down with us, and not in a good way. After hours of being still during sleep, the body needs gentle activation. Without movement, blood circulation remains sluggish, muscles stay cold and stiff, digestion takes longer to start, and the brain doesn't receive the oxygen it needs to focus. Morning movement isn't about burning calories or building strength. It's about signaling to your body that the day has begun, that you are awake and ready to engage with the world around you. Unfortunately, as we age, it becomes easier to slip into a sedentary morning routine. Whether it's because of joint pain, fear of falling, lack of motivation, or simply habit, many older adults begin the day with long periods of stillness. And that lack of motion quickly becomes a cycle. The less we move, the stiffer we feel, and the harder it becomes to move at all. Even small actions like getting dressed or reaching for something on a shelf start to feel overwhelming. This physical stillness doesn't just affect the body, it influences mood, balance, and even memory. Your body needs momentum to feel alive. Carl eventually realized that resting wasn't helping. It was making him weaker. So he began with the smallest steps possible. Each morning, he sat on the edge of the bed and stretched his arms above his head. He rotated his ankles. He stood slowly and marched in place for 1 minute. At first, it felt awkward, but after a few days, the stiffness began to ease. He added a hallway walk, then a lap around his backyard. Over time, his balance improved and his confidence grew. "It wasn't about working out," he said. "It was about reminding my legs that they still worked and reminding myself that I still could." Simple, gentle movements can completely change how your day unfolds. Even if you have limited mobility, doing circles with your wrists and ankles, stretching your arms toward the ceiling, or slowly rising from your chair a few extra times can get your blood flowing. These movements warm up your muscles, loosen tight joints, and stimulate your nervous system. They also support healthy digestion, regulate blood sugar, and improve coordination, especially important for preventing falls. The key is not intensity or perfection. The key is consistency. Every morning, even 2 minutes of motion tells your body, we're awake, we're alive, and we're moving forward. If you've been feeling stuck in the mornings, mentally foggy, or physically stiff, consider how much or how little you're moving at the start of your day. You don't need to do much, just enough to tell your heart, your brain, and your muscles that you're ready to live this day with purpose. Because sometimes the difference between a sluggish day and an energized one comes down to just a few simple movements, done with care and intention. Coming up next, we explore something you might not associate with physical tiredness, but it can be just as draining. Many older adults wake up and go straight to their screens. news, emails, texts, or endless scrolling. It may feel harmless, but it could be shaping your stress levels and mental energy for the entire day. Let's talk about that next in number 4, too much screen time, letting the phone set the tone. Number 4, too much screen time, letting the phone set the tone. Mrs. Linda, a 75-year-old retired administrative assistant from California, had developed a habit over the past few years. She would wake up, reach for her phone on the nightstand, and scroll. It started innocently enough, a glance at the weather, then reading the news, checking email, watching a few videos, and sometimes scrolling through photos from her family's social media. Before I knew it, she said, 45 minutes had passed, and I hadn't even gotten out of bed. She thought it was a quiet, relaxing way to start the morning. But as time went on, she began to notice something different. Her mind felt heavy. Her thoughts raced. She felt drained before the day even began. And though she hadn't moved a muscle, she was already tired. This experience is more common than you might think. Many older adults begin their mornings immersed in screens, not just phones, but tablets, televisions, and laptops. And while it may seem like a passive way to wake up slowly, it can actually have the opposite effect. Our brains are most vulnerable in the first 30 to 60 minutes after waking. This is when your nervous system is adjusting from a state of rest to alertness, when hormone levels are shifting, and when your thoughts are the most impressionable. Flooding your brain with news headlines, notifications, bright screens, and emotionally charged content during that delicate window can trigger stress, mental fatigue, and emotional overstimulation that lingers throughout the day. What many people don't realize is that screen exposure, especially first thing in the morning, directly influences your mood and your energy. The blue light from phones and tablets suppresses melatonin, which might sound like a good thing during the day, but can confuse your natural rhythm and delay your body's full wake-up process. It can leave you feeling sluggish yet overstimulated, a strange combination that leads to mental fatigue, irritability, and decision overload before you've even had your first sip of water. The content you consume matters just as much. Reading upsetting news stories, engaging in negative online conversations, or comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel on social media can plant seeds of anxiety or inadequacy before your day even starts. This is especially harmful for seniors who already live alone or struggle with feelings of isolation. A mind that starts the day overwhelmed has a harder time focusing, enjoying quiet moments, or staying present in simple activities like eating, walking, or connecting with others. Mrs. Linda didn't think her screen time was a problem until she tried something different. One morning, instead of reaching for her phone, she opened the curtains, made a warm cup of tea, and sat quietly for 5 minutes before breakfast. No screens, no noise, just light, breath, and stillness. It felt strange at first, she said, but then I noticed I was calmer. I wasn't racing through thoughts before the day had even started. I felt like I had space in my own mind again. That space, that moment of quiet, is something our brains crave. Especially as we age, we benefit from slow, mindful transitions into the day. And while technology can absolutely be a blessing, allowing us to stay connected, informed, and entertained, it becomes a burden when it robs us of peace, clarity, or emotional regulation. If checking your phone is the first thing you do in the morning, try shifting the timing. Give yourself even 10 to 15 minutes before turning it on. Instead, open a window, drink water, stretch, say a short prayer or practice a moment of gratitude. Look outside, breathe, let your own thoughts rise before the voices of the world come rushing in. Your brain, your heart, and your mood will thank you. Morning screen time isn't bad in itself, but how and when you engage with it can shape your entire day. Choosing to start your mornings without immediate screens is one of the simplest, most powerful ways to protect your energy, your attention span, and your emotional well-being. Next, we'll take a closer look at something else that often happens in the background, not in your hands, but in your head. Because sometimes the fatigue we feel comes not from lack of sleep or poor diet, but from unnoticed mental tension that begins the moment we open our eyes. Let's talk next about number 5, Morning anxiety and overthinking, a hidden drain on your energy. Number 5. Morning anxiety and overthinking, a hidden drain on your energy. Mrs. Helen, an 83-year-old retired piano teacher from Virginia, lived in a quiet home filled with books, music sheets, and memories. Her health was steady, her diet balanced, and she went to bed at a regular hour. But each morning she woke up already feeling tired, not physically, but emotionally. "It's like my mind is racing the moment I open my eyes," she explained. "Before I even put my feet on the floor, I've already run through every worry I have." From concerns about her adult children, her finances, and the state of the world, to thoughts about her own aging body, Helen's mornings were filled not with peace, but with pressure. And like many older adults, she didn't realize that this constant stream of overthinking and worry was quietly draining her energy before her day even began. Morning anxiety doesn't always come with a racing heart or a panic attack. For many seniors, it's subtle but persistent. A sense of unease, an unsettled feeling in the stomach, or a heavy mind filled with thoughts that spin and loop endlessly. Unlike physical fatigue, emotional fatigue often goes unnoticed because it doesn't show up in lab results or on medical scans. But it's just as real. When your brain wakes up already scanning for problems, your body responds with tension. Your breathing may become shallow, your shoulders tighten, your digestion slows, and your ability to focus disappears. All this happens quietly, but the result is clear. You begin the day feeling exhausted, even if you haven't moved a muscle. The early morning hours, when your mind is most open and vulnerable, can set the emotional tone for your entire day. And while some degree of reflection or concern is natural, especially as we age and face life's transitions, starting the day with worry instead of calm becomes a habit that feeds itself. You begin to associate mornings not with renewal or hope, but with dread, responsibility, and mental overload. This can impact not just your energy, but also your motivation, memory, and even your relationships. Helen's turning point came after a conversation with her granddaughter, who suggested something simple. Write down her thoughts each morning instead of holding them all inside. Helen started keeping a notebook by her bedside. Each day, before even speaking or checking the news, she would write 3 things she was grateful for, followed by anything that was on her mind. Worries, questions, prayers. "I thought it was silly at first," she admitted, "but it helped. It felt like I emptied my mind onto paper so I could breathe again." Creating mental space in the morning doesn't require anything complicated. It can be as simple as sitting quietly for 5 minutes, focusing on your breath, or looking outside and noticing what's beautiful about the day. Gentle practices like journaling, prayer, guided meditation, or repeating a calming phrase can shift your brain from survival mode into presence and peace. Even saying, "I'm okay right now, today is a new start," can send a powerful message to your nervous system that you are safe, grounded, and ready to begin. If you find yourself waking up with a heavy heart or a racing mind, know that you're not alone. Aging brings changes, losses, and unknowns, and those can naturally stir up anxiety. But the good news is that you're not powerless. By choosing small rituals of calm, gratitude, or stillness, you can begin to rewire your mornings. Instead of letting your thoughts take over, you can guide them gently, with kindness, and without judgment. Your energy is precious. Protecting it starts not with pills or supplements, but with how you greet your day. A peaceful mind is not something that magically appears. It's something you create, one breath, one thought, one choice at a time. In the next section, we'll move from the mind back to the body and talk about a surprisingly common habit that can quietly impact your digestion, comfort, and daily rhythm. Up next is number 6, ignoring bowel signals, a hidden cause of discomfort. Number 6, ignoring bowel signals, a hidden cause of discomfort. Mr. Walter, an 85-year-old retired firefighter from Illinois, had always been strong, disciplined, and structured. He woke up at the same time every morning, made coffee, read the news, and got dressed. But there was one part of his routine he began to ignore, and it cost him more than he realized. Sometimes I'd feel the urge to go to the bathroom right after waking, he admitted, but I'd tell myself, later, after breakfast, after the paper. Over time, that later became much later, or never at all. Weeks passed, and Walter found himself uncomfortable, bloated, and increasingly sluggish. I didn't connect the dots at first, he said, but the truth was, I was ignoring my body. What Walter experienced is something many older adults go through without realizing it, disregarding the body's natural morning signals to have a bowel movement, and in doing so, disrupting the digestive rhythm that helps maintain overall health, comfort, and energy. After several hours of fasting overnight, your body begins to prepare for elimination. The gastrointestinal system is gently stimulated by rising cortisol levels and the movement of food through the intestines from the previous day. That means for most people, the urge to go to the bathroom in the morning is not random. It's natural and expected. But when we ignore it, delay it, or suppress it repeatedly, several things begin to happen. First, the urge becomes weaker, and the communication between your brain and gut becomes confused. Your bowel movements become irregular, less complete, and more difficult. Second, constipation sets in, especially in seniors whose digestive motility is already slower due to age, medication, or low fiber intake. And third, and perhaps most importantly, this buildup of waste in the colon can make you feel heavy, bloated, mentally foggy, and fatigued throughout the day. It's not just about physical discomfort. Constipation and poor elimination can lead to decreased appetite, disrupted sleep, headaches, and even mood changes like irritability or sadness. Some people feel tightness in the lower back or abdomen. Others feel unusually sluggish even if they slept well. These are all signs that the body's trying to clear out, but it needs your cooperation. For Walter, the solution was surprisingly simple. He made a habit of going to the bathroom shortly after waking, before coffee or breakfast, just to give his body a chance. Even if he didn't always feel the full urge, he'd sit quietly and allow space for it. He also began drinking a glass of warm water in the morning and added more fiber to his meals, like oatmeal, apples, and leafy greens. Within 2 weeks, his bathroom rhythm improved, and so did his mood and energy. I felt lighter, he said, not just in my stomach, in my whole day. Many older adults avoid going first thing in the morning because of timing, shared bathrooms, or simply being out of the habit. Some are embarrassed to talk about it, even with their doctor. But ignoring bowel signals can lead to long-term digestive issues, dependence on laxatives, and even complications like hemorrhoids or fecal impaction. It's a basic yet vital part of health. And it starts with listening to your body when it whispers, not just when it shouts. If you've been dealing with bloating, discomfort, or irregularity, consider whether you're giving yourself the right conditions to go each morning. A relaxed environment, a warm drink, light movement, and enough time all matter. Your digestive system needs rhythm, and honoring its signals is one of the simplest ways to restore energy, clarity, and comfort throughout the day. Next, we'll look at one more often overlooked part of the morning routine, one that can affect how well your medications or supplements actually work. Up next is number 7, delay in medication or supplements, missing the window for support. Number 7, delay in medication or supplements, missing the window for support. Mr. Edward, an 86-year-old former mechanic from North Carolina, was always proud of how carefully he managed his medications. Every Sunday evening, he filled his weekly pill organizer, checked his refills, and made sure nothing was missing. But one habit had quietly crept into his mornings. He often waited too long to take his medications. I'd get up, put the kettle on, then check the weather, read the news, make breakfast, and before I knew it, it was almost noon, he explained. That's when I'd realize I hadn't taken my pills. He thought as long as he took them eventually, it didn't matter much. But over time, he began noticing fluctuations in his energy, digestion issues, and even some dizziness that made getting up from a chair feel uncertain. What Edward didn't know was that delaying certain medications and supplements can reduce their effectiveness and throw off the body's rhythm for the rest of the day. For many seniors, medications and supplements are a vital part of staying well. They support heart health, brain function, digestion, bones, and even mood. But timing matters more than most people realize. Your body operates on natural cycles. Blood pressure tends to rise in the morning, stomach acid levels shift throughout the day, and cortisol helps regulate alertness. Medications are often prescribed with these rhythms in mind. Taking your blood pressure pill at 10 a.m. instead of 7 a.m., or your thyroid medication after eating instead of before, may lead to reduced absorption, unpredictable results, and even uncomfortable side effects. The same goes for common supplements. For example, calcium should be spaced away from iron or thyroid medications to avoid interference. Vitamin D is better absorbed with a meal containing fat. Magnesium, if taken too early, may cause drowsiness. And probiotics, if taken at the wrong time, may pass through the system without offering full benefit. All of these small details, when combined with delays or inconsistent routines, can quietly undermine the good intentions behind taking them in the first place. Edward's doctor helped him create a simple chart with timing cues based on his existing morning routine. He took his thyroid pill immediately after waking, then waited 30 minutes before breakfast. Just enough time for a short walk or gentle stretching. His blood pressure and cholesterol medications came with breakfast. His vitamin D and B complex followed shortly after with his coffee. Once I built it into my routine, I didn't have to think about it anymore, he said, and I stopped feeling that mid-morning slump. If you take multiple medications or supplements, talk with your healthcare provider or pharmacist about the best timing for each one. Ask which should be taken on an empty stomach, with food, or separated from others. Then build a rhythm that works for your lifestyle, something simple, predictable, and easy to follow. One way to make it easier is to pair your medication schedule with habits you already have. For example, keep your thyroid pill on your nightstand and take it as soon as you sit up in bed. Store breakfast time medications next to your tea mug or cereal box. Use a pill organizer with labeled times, or even set a gentle reminder on your phone or clock radio. The goal is not perfection, it's consistency. If you've been feeling off even though you're taking the right medications, consider not just what you're taking, but when. Sometimes the body's doing its best, but the support we're giving it is arriving too late. And when we align that support with our natural rhythm, even small improvements can feel like a big shift in stability, energy, and clarity. Now that we've explored these 7 quiet but powerful morning habits, from hydration and movement to screen time and medication timing, it's time to bring everything together. Let's move into our final section, where we reflect on the deeper lesson behind all of this. That small choices, made with intention, have the power to change how we age. Coming up next is our conclusion. Now that we've explored these 7 morning habits, the ones that seem harmless but quietly chip away at your energy, comfort, and even longevity, it's clear that the way we start our day matters far more than we often realize. For many people over 60, fatigue, stiffness, and mental fog don't come from aging alone. They come from tiny, repeated decisions that either support or strain the body. Drinking water or not, skipping breakfast or savoring it, moving your body or sitting still, taking your medications at the right time or hours too late. These are not dramatic events. They're gentle nudges, habits that either build you up or wear you down day after day. But here's the beautiful truth. These patterns can be changed. They are not fixed. They are not destiny. No matter your age, no matter how long you've been doing something a certain way, you can always begin again. And mornings are the perfect place to start, because every new day offers a new chance to make small, loving decisions that support your energy, your independence, your clarity, and your joy. And the best part, you don't have to overhaul your life. You don't need expensive tools or complicated routines. You simply need awareness and a little consistency. A glass of water first thing in the morning to rehydrate your cells and ease your heart's workload. A real breakfast, even a small one, with protein and fiber to fuel your brain and muscles. A few minutes of gentle movement to unlock stiff joints and improve balance. A mindful pause before checking your phone, letting your mind greet the day with peace instead of noise. A moment to listen to your body's natural urges. A gentle rhythm for your medications, taken with intention, not as an afterthought. These little shifts may seem unimportant in the moment, but over time, they build strength, stability, and self-respect. They tell your body, I'm paying attention, I care, I want you to feel better. And the body responds. Energy returns, digestion improves, moods lift, focus sharpens. You begin to feel more like yourself. Not the tired version, but the one who still wants to live fully and well. Getting older does bring changes, of course, but it also brings wisdom, the kind that understands that health isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing the small things that matter most, consistently, with care. Your body is not broken. It is simply asking for better support, and you are fully capable of giving it that, starting tomorrow morning. So tonight, as you go to bed, take a moment to reflect. What's one small thing I can do differently in the morning? Just one. Is it drinking water? Sitting down to eat instead of rushing? Stretching your legs before reaching for your phone? That one choice might seem small, but it could be the first step in a powerful new direction, a direction of strength, of clarity, of truly living, not just surviving. Thank you for being here, for caring about your health, and for taking the time to listen, not just to this video, but to your own body. You deserve mornings that feel steady, days that feel full of life, and years ahead that are not just long, but full of vitality and purpose. Your mornings matter, and so do you. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and haven't yet liked and subscribed, now is the perfect time to do so. It really helps our channel grow and reach more people who need this kind of helpful content. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you'll always know when a new video is up. Your support truly means the world to us. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.